Hello, everyone. Welcome into today's webinar, Choosing Your Project Management Path, presented by our Head of Management Solutions here at Educate 360, Brent Nair. My name is Mariela Salinas, and I'll be assisting and moderating today's session. We are on Zoom for today's webinar, and we will be emailing you a copy of this recording after the session. We do encourage participation throughout the session, so please use the chat or that Q&A option for a short Q&A after the presentation. Educate 360 and Project Management Academy are so excited to present this webinar today. I will now hand it over to you, Brent.
Hi, Mariella. Thanks for holding the webinar, hosting us today on a Friday afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you all are enjoying the day. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, and it is a sunny, let me look, it is a sunny 56 today. So welcome, everyone. Let us know where you're from. Put it in chat, and we'll go ahead and get started. So today we're going to talk about choosing a project management path. I've been in the project management business for over 30 years. And when I think about my path to becoming a project manager, it is not unlike probably a lot of your paths going forward. As you got to it. So what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to start with what it is we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about welcome, kind of talk about the PM methodologies a little bit and why you would choose a method. Oh, there's a spelling error. Sorry about that. As I am human, I do make errors. So methodology. Sorry about that. So we will do that. And we have a question. Oh, I'm sorry, it's freezing in Dallas. Charisse, my daughter lives in LA this morning, and she messaged me and said, "Dad, it's 35 degrees here in LA. It's the coldest that I've ever been." So that's quite interesting. But got a question for you all. How many of you? Oh, you can't hear anything, Erica? You might want to drop and come back. Can the rest of you hear me okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Just want to make sure. Okay, perfect. Thanks. Thanks, Sammy. Chile and Phoenix. I was just out in Phoenix last weekend, visiting family in Chandler. So, back to the discussion. So, how many of you, when you were in college, high school, secondary school, university, whatever, decided, oh, Mariella, there's background music going, maybe still? Okay. That you wanted to be a project manager? How many of you give me a yes or no in the chat? I'd love to know how many of you decided to be a project manager. I see a lot of no's. We have a lot of no's. And there's about 65 of us in the room right now. Yes, by way of kindergarten teacher. So Linda is working with stakeholders easier than teaching kindergarten. So for the most part, most of us, majority of us, never thought about being a project manager. Usually we fell into the role, fell into the job. Somebody walked by your desk and said, "Oh, you keep a nice, clean, well-organized desk. You are now a project manager," or something similar. I've taught over 10,000 students in various classes, and I always ask that question. And I would say that of those 10,000, I've had only 5 or 6, and they've been mechanical engineers that said that they wanted to be a project manager. They knew in high school or knew before college or university. So it's an interesting fact. So for me, my path is probably not unlike some of yours. I have BAs in history and anthropology and masters in counseling and teaching. I decided to go into the tech world after counseling for a while This was in the dot-com boom era. And I was teaching classes as well, Mac, Corel Draw, those types of classes. And I then became a tech instructor, taught Windows NT 3.5, 3.5.1, 4.0, and then I got hired as a systems administrator by a local hospital here. Some of you have heard of it, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital here in Memphis. And that started my IT career. And so for the last 25, 30 years, I've been in IT or IT adjacent as a project manager, chief information officer, chief information security officer, head of PMO, also a um, uh, learning and development, all of that. So it's tangential. And as I moved into it, um, you know, along the way, I needed to learn. And one of the ways was the PMP certification. That's not the only way, but that was the way. So what we're going to talk about today is the ways that an individual can get a certification in project management or certifications. It doesn't mean this is the only way that you can become a PM or become a project manager, but I'm going to talk about PM certification paths and different ways to do it. And so the best way from a traditional predictive project management, of course, is starting with the CAPM, which is a certified associate project manager. If you don't have 3 years of project management experience, the CAPM is a way while you're either finishing up your undergraduate or immediately after your undergraduate or associate's degree, is if you have the desire to move into project management, is to take the CAPM, get that certification. We know that individuals with certifications are more likely to be hired versus, or at least get in the door, more likely to get interviewed, more likely in turn to be hired than those without certifications. That's on average. Usually if we were to compare, some of the statistics that I've seen are 33% more likely, etc. So with the CAPM, once you get your 3 years or 36 months of project management experience, you can then sit for the PMP. An alternative is if you're in the construction world now, there is a PMI CP, which stands for construction professional. So if this is heavy about construction, using construction tools such as the PRI risk tool and others. Still, same stakeholder engagement, same communication, all of those things, but it leans to project management overall. One of the things that's really helped me tremendously in my project management career is the fact that I have a master's in counseling, is that I have experience working with others, facilitating groups, etc. Projects are relational. Projects are all about relationships. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we build those relational skills. And some of the skills, of course, are requirements gathering, conflict resolution, influencing, facilitating. We do all of those things as project managers and more. However, a lot of it is some of the courses that you can take that we offer here at Educate 360, as well as they're available other places, is you can business analysis foundations, a constructive conflict management course, influencing without authority, and critical facilitation skills, how we facilitate meetings. I always tell people, if you don't like meetings, you don't like working with people, and you don't like email, don't be a project manager, because that's what we spend a lot of time doing. Great, Gina. Thanks. I'm glad to hear that. So, traditional project management, this is a path. Now, we know that there are agile and project and hybrid methodologies as well. So, we're going to now talk about agile. For those in the agile certification or agile project management methodology, we want to think about a CAPM is a great building block. Even agile still has its foundation in traditional project management. And a CAPM is a great starting point. In the agile space within PMI, there is a PMI Agile Certified Practitioner. That is an overall understanding, knowledge of Agile across the board. There are 51 flavors of Agile, much like Baskin Robbins. Now, if you want to concentrate in one area, of course, you can get a Scrum Master. If you look on LinkedIn or other places for jobs, you'll see a lot of times they'll either say a requirement or a nice to have or likely to have either a PMP or Agile certification or PMP or Scrum Master. Any of those apply. Even you'll see consistently these additional skills. You're going to see those as we go through the rest of the certification. Every project manager needs to understand how to gather requirements, whether we use user stories or whether we use requirements, either one. We have to understand what it is we are doing, what it is expected, what it is that the client customer wants. And of course, conflict resolution, influencing, facilitating, all of those skills. I would say also communicating, courses on communication, written communication. I had a mentor that told me, remember, less is more when I'm writing, get to the point, all of those things. So that's agile project management. Now, hybrid project management, of course, is very similar to the PMP, is very similar to the traditional project management path. From a PMI perspective, an hybrid project manager uses the best of both worlds of traditional project management and agile project management. Still the same additional skills, still the same courses. We're seeing more and more organizations run projects in an agile fashion if it meets their needs, or excuse me, in a hybrid fashion, sorry, if it meets their needs. We've seen agile organizations start to swing a little bit back to traditional project management in reporting. And so they're in a hybrid world. So because some of the folks that are now in leadership positions have experience and have understanding of how traditional project managers do their work, and they want to see some of those same things, whether it's in a reporting capability or others. So hybrid. Now, maybe you don't want to start right away with a CAPM. Maybe you're interested in another role. One of those roles is a business analyst. A business analyst, there's someone that really understands the business that they are working in. So, for example, if I'm a human resources business analyst, if I'm a finance business analyst, if I'm an engineering business analyst, I understand those functions. I understand what it is that we do from a business. My job is to work with the business and with maybe IT or other project management folks to translate that, to help translate that into what we understand. I've been titled a project manager and have done a lot of business analysis. I've been titled a business analyst and have done project management. So depending upon your organization, You might find yourself in the role without the title, or have the title and in the role. So when we think about business analysis, it's an art and a science. Thanks, Charisse. Charisse says that's her. It is an art and a science. And by that, I mean there are some structured things to do. Understanding the what it is the business needs, understanding how you gather requirements, understanding what type of questions to ask. Never ask close-ended questions, always ask open-ended questions. Being able to ask why without sounding like an annoying toddler, so to speak. Understanding how processes are modeled, business analysis. All of these courses that I list up here, those 5 courses, are great courses to build your business analysis chops, experience, and understanding. Now, there are also business analysis certifications that you can obtain. We use the IABPM, the International Association of Business Professionals curriculum to teach certifications, and there are 4 levels of that certifications. If you're interested, please check out our website. We'll have information about it later on at the end of the slides, so you can look at that. You'll see again influencing without authority, facilitation skills, thinking with critical insight. That's a new one. Thinking with critical insight. Those are all skills. Those are all courses that can build those skills. Now, let's say that you're a project manager and you want to move beyond project manager. Maybe you want to move to program management, or maybe you want to move more concentrated into the risk field or portfolio. So we're going to talk about those 3 here for the next 5 minutes before we open up for questions. So the risk management, RMP, PMI offers a certification called Risk Management Professional. Taking the PMP, of course, leads to the risk management, opening yourself up to be able to take the risk management professional. We have a course for the risk management professional, a 3-day risk management professional certification prep class, helps prepare you for the exam. Additionally, you want to understand requirements gathering, because when I think about risk as a project manager, they sort of are a requirement. It applies to the project. And so we want to be able to come back to that. Erica, and Tammy, I'll answer those questions at the end. Those are awesome questions. So the courses that we have here to build those softer or others are available for you to take. You're welcome to take that. So if you already in past risk management cert, if you've already in the past have taken it, can you take another ramp for refresh? We may talk after to bring that one up. And then what types of jobs are available with the PMP? Risk management, running risk management for organizations. That's one of the jobs, Tammy, that are out there. Leading risk practices, potentially. That's another one. So they're out there for that. Another role that a lot of project managers move into is one where they run a project management organization, a PMO, or a project management office. And that leads to the PMI PGMP class. We also offer a certification course for the PGMP. We also recommend, of course, that you take additional skills. Additional skills are always going to help you. Thinking with critical insight, business process improvement, navigating difficult conversations. These are additional courses to think about. When you're running a program, you're managing a bunch, you're managing project managers. You have not a portfolio, but you have a set of projects that are underneath you. If we think about in an IT world, the IT PMO in the information technology space, the IT PMO runs the projects that are related to information technology. A human resources PMO runs the projects that are related to human resources. The same for finance. Now, the final one that we're going to talk about is the portfolio manager. Now, a portfolio manager is very strategic. They are usually very close to a vice president role. They're very close to a potentially, you could be the chief portfolio officer. I've seen that in some cases. Um, but you're really running a division. You're really running a portfolio of projects. So I always think about it this way. In my 401k, I have a portfolio. I have a stock portfolio, I have a bond portfolio, and I have other. In a business, I might have, let's say, for example, we're a construction organization. Construction. I may have retail construction. I may have commercial construction. I may have home construction. And under retail, projects related to the building of shopping malls, etc. Uh, Commercial could be building of warehouses, factories, and then I may have a school in that. And then residential, of course, is building of subdivisions, houses, apartments, etc. Or apartments could be in the commercial. Still, the critical thinking, the business insights, all of those courses are there to help expand your knowledge. Because remember, it's not just how you check the boxes, it's not just how you do the tasks and the tactics that you follow for project management. It's about how you work with your stakeholders. It's how you work with your teams. It's how you work with your peers. And I always need, of course, help with that. I know I just went through a lot of information and gave you a lot of stuff to digest. As Mariella said at the beginning, we will have this available. The slides you can download. She'll send a link. You can download the slides as well. But I wanted to save the last 6 minutes or so, 4 or 7 minutes or so for questions. If you have questions, and I think I've already answered Erica's as well as Tammy's questions, but either type your questions in chat or go off mic and please ask your questions. I'd love to answer. I want to give time for you. Thanks, Gina.
Alrighty, I will go ahead and give our audience a little time to throw in any last minute questions in the chat. I did want to go ahead and throw in a couple links just so that our audience is aware of all of the fun resources we have available to them. Here we go. We can always visit projectmanagementacademy.net to learn a little bit more about all of the different pathways we offer. And I did drop a fun link to our 2026 workforce trends that E360 has for the rest of the year. So I will go ahead and throw those in. We got a comment in overall, a PMP will give a cert. The cert will prepare you for what is needed. I feel that I am completing so many of these roles and can't narrow it down. Hmm. Okay. Awesome. And
Um, Sorry, Mariella, go ahead.
no, go right ahead.
Um, I, the question is, Hope, do you need to narrow it down? Um, I know that for me as a PMP, I have it's opened up doors um, for me to move into a program management role. Um, However, I didn't get the certification until after. So it opens up the doors, and then you can do the certification later if need be. I have, my Agile certified. I'm a certified project manager for AI projects. Those have come later, along with my Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt and my certified information security professional. So um, don't always feel that you have to have the certification before moving into the role. certification can help you uh, certify or get your, how do I want to put it, maybe your street cred legitimized. Uh, okay. So Erica says, how can I combine that with a PMP? And would you suggest to take a PMP with business analyst? I'm also a supply chain manager. Um, I, short answer, yes. I think every project manager should understand how to take, how to gather, how to work with businesses for um, requirements. In the PMBOK 8, which is out now, the we are placed PMI, the Project Management Institute, is placing more and more emphasis on value to the business. I remember when I started in project management, there was always this friction between business and project because the project manager was the ultimate authority, and quite frankly, it didn't take into account the business. As we've matured over the last 20 years, we really are enablers of business. So of course, you need to be able to gather requirements. Sorry, Erica, that was a long answer. Short answer is yes.
Excellent. And Hope followed up to your answer with, I struggle. This is great to hear. I struggle with which direction to take. I really do need it as street cred. I get that. No, yeah, we hear that definitely. And it's definitely why we scheduled this webinar. I think that there's so many valuable assets out there, and just a little help compiling them, laying them all out is really helpful. And speaking of, we also have a whole page dedicated to the PMP exam updates for 2026. I know
Yes.
that Brent mentioned the PMBOK 8, and there's so much good info in there. If you are looking to get your PMP and you're kind of weighing the options still, and if that's in your ballpark, we have all of the info there listed for you. So just as a FYI, and yeah, we would love. Oh, and then I saw another question here about the slides. We actually will be sending out a recording after the session, so be on the lookout for the link to the recording. You'll be able to go through the entirety of the session just to go over a couple of things you may have missed. Yeah, of course. Got you,
You're welcome,
Miranda.
Miranda. And just so you know, remember, for those of you that are considering the PMP exam, the new exam goes live July 9th. So you have up until July 8th to take the exam and pass the exam with the PMP version 7. After July 9th, 2026, we move to version 8. The exam moves to version 8.
You got it. Yeah, all those important dates are on that landing page. So please
Yes.
feel free to digest, go dive in there and take away all. You can take a little survey as well if you're still unsure which exam you want to take. And yes, absolutely, you can claim this webinar for half a PDU, right, Brent? I
Yep.
believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just put in yes.
perfect. And I think it's ways of working.
It is ways of working.
Sweet.
We didn't get into the
Awesome.
squishy stuff. That's the people.
Not the people, not this time. But
Yep.
alrighty, everyone. We are at 12:30, so wanted to take a second to thank you all so much for joining us today for
Thank you.
not only your engagement, but for attending. We really appreciate getting a little bit more insight from you. So we have a follow-up survey. If you want to throw in any additional feedback on additional sessions that you want to see in the future, please go ahead and throw any suggestions in there. We love to hear them. And thanks as always, Brent, for your expertise today.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mariella. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you all very soon in the classroom, but bye for now.
Bye.